In 1913, after 27 years of imprisonment, the United States government released the Chiricahua Apaches from Fort Sill in Oklahoma. A generation lost, these emancipated prisoners of war found themselves starting anew. The first child born into freedom would be named Allan Houser, better known in the art world as Allan Houser. It would become his life's work and the legacy of his family to ensure that the Apache way of life would never be forgotten. Allan's father, Sam Houser, spent the better part of his first 15 years learning the traditions of his Apache people.
It's one family, an Apache American family, that has these influences of Sam Houser, who was captured as a prisoner of war and brought here, says, you will live in Oklahoma, not by choice, but because you are a defeated nation. You will live here as a POW. But he adapts, he changes. The oral traditions that he got from the descendants of Mangus Coloradus and Geronimo and the other Apaches come to Oklahoma with Sam and his wife Blossom. Those stories are shared with Allan and his siblings and his cousins and the next generation, Bob and Phillip. And then taking those memories and showing how one unique family has expressed that through art.
No one was more fascinated and deeply influenced with these oral traditions than Sam and Blossom's oldest son, Allan. He would sketch Apache scenes on lined school paper or, much to his mother's dismay, carve them into a good bar of soap. In 1934, Allan was with his parents at the Indian Affairs Office in Anadarko, Oklahoma. He noticed a flyer on the bulletin board announcing the establishment of an art class at the Santa Fe Indian School. Telling no one, he sent in a few of his raw sketches and weeks later found out he was accepted.
When he finished school, he was on Garcia Street. He and a friend of his rented a place so they can live, and they were painting. He took all his drawings down to Phillip, and he sold all of them, 22,000. So I thought, he's really good. He shouldn't be just doing menial work or things like that, you know.
During World War II, Allan found himself working in war-related construction. It wasn't until after the war that Allan would get his big break. He was informed about a design competition for a war memorial that was to be built at the Haskell Institute in Lawrence, Kansas, to honor all fallen Indian soldiers. Allan submitted his ideas and won the competition. He assured the jury that he was indeed well-versed in sculpting large marble, but the truth was that he had no formal training as a sculptor.
They brought him to stone, and they put him down in the basement and gave him the tools, jackhammers, and I don't know what else. And he did it. He finished it. Beautiful piece.
Despite his lack of experience and the absence of proper tools, he transformed a massive block of Carrara marble into the captivating 7-foot-tall statue entitled Comrade in Mourning. It was his first sculpture, but it would not be his last.
I think he kept it fresh, that every piece was in a way a new piece that he was doing. He was trying to say something new.
And he doesn't portray scenes of violence. He doesn't really reflect a warrior culture, which was obviously in existence and which his father had been born into. But he was an optimist, and he, without any bitterness, he portrayed what he knew of his family and what he knew of his culture and what he knew of the culture that had been lost in a most amazing way.
It was the aspect that made him special, that made him that 1 in 10 million artist, was the degree of perfection.
Derived from the stories of his parents, laid the foundation for much of Allan's artwork. A generation later, these themes are still evident in the art of his sons.
This is Great Spirit Buffalo. I started with this size model, and I do them out of clay. And as you can see, it's realistic on one side, and then I have a kind of my own abstract, modern look on this side. I thought it would work really well when it was in a large size. So they'll pull a wax out of that mold, and we send them off to companies that do enlargements by laser cutting foam, and then we'll seal it so we can apply clay to it. And that's what happened with this one here.
Ooh, Apache Holocaust, that has my heart. I love that piece. It's painful. On the base are all the tribes, all Apache people I found from the Indian school registers, of mostly people that died. Plus I put all the family names of the tribes in Oklahoma. I tried to, of the families in Oklahoma. And in the column are the 7 generations of the future. All the death, all of what's happened to us, our tribal cultural knowledge, our philosophical knowledge is almost dead now. And on top is an Apache man. It all turned on him because now they're in a prison camp in a foreign area, and he was going to be killed by his own. And he was deserted by everything he's related to.
Whether it provokes thought or conveys beauty, Phillip and Bob's art is influenced by the richness of Apache traditions. On August 22, 1994, at the age of 80, Allan Houser passed away. His life's work, like his people, continues to live on, inspiring future artists and future generations.
Now that he's gone, I go out there. I can feel his spirit. I can feel his thinking. I can feel that he's not gone. Maybe I have him in my mind, you know.